first grade. Today we're going to be reading a brand new story called The King of Spring. Straight away you can see that this looks like a pretty hilarious story. There's a king and he's laughing, and then if you look a little closer, you can see some other things in the background. In the foreground I see the king. What do you notice in the background? Yeah, there are kids who look like they're creatures of the forest, or they're dressed up like something like that. You see they're holding different things in their hand. Everyone's smiling and there's joy. This looks like a celebration. What are some things that you can infer from the front cover? Do you notice that there is flowers and daffodils, and there are insects coming from behind the king and then in front of him? What do you think that means? What could this be a story about, and what do you infer? Have a close look at the front cover and think about what this story could be about. Because we use the pictures, we use the words, we use our schema to find out what comes next. I've chosen a few different sight words for us to learn because there are a lot in the story. But these are some really good sight words that we may need to go back over. They're the words one, there, they, where, and were. Do you see how you need to know the difference? These two sounds are the exact same sound, but their spelling is different. This one could look similar, but it could confuse you. It's the word they. And then here, these two words often get mixed up. Were and where. And you just need to learn the difference between these. One great way to do that is to learn it through sight words. One finger, one thumb, keep moving. O-N-E, keep moving. O-N-E, keep moving, and we'll all spell number one. One finger, one thumb, keep moving. O-N-E, keep moving. O-N-E, keep moving, and we'll all spell number one. Cha-cha-cha. There. Oh, there is written, T-H-E-I-R. For something that belongs to them, it's T-H-E-I-R. Like it's their dolly, it's their house, or maybe it's their car. For something that belongs to them, it's T-H-E-I-R. There. There again. Over there. Over there. Over there. T-H-E-R-E. Over there. Over there. Over there. T-H-E-R-E. Over there. Did you hear the difference? What about this one? Oh, where has my candy bar gone? W-H-E-R-E. I left it right by my daddy's chair. W-H-E-R-E. This final word is the word were. Different from where, it's the word were. It goes, were you there? Were you there? Were is written, were is written. Were you there? Were you there? W-E-R-E. Were you there? Were you there? Standing by a grizzly bear. Were you? Were you? W-E-R-E. So, if we flick to this page, you can see that the first word is the word midst. So I'm just going to underline that. It says, "It is spring," the king said, as he sat in the midst of a budding daffodil bed. Well, let's think about what it means in context. "It is spring," the king said, as he sat in the midst of a budding daffodil bed. Well, the word midst kind of gives you a clue about what it's about, because it sounds like the word middle. And so you can kind of infer that it could be the middle or amongst, but you also might need some help from an adult. The second word is the word budding. Budding is something to do with the daffodil bed because it comes right before it. So what do you infer it could mean? As he sat in the midst of a budding daffodil bed. If we know something about a bud, then we can use our schema to think budding means the stage of a flower where it starts to come out. Let's look to the next page. The word that I want to point out here is the word summon. The king's silver bell rang. Ding-a-ling! Summon the band and the robins and the insects of spring. We can use the words around the word summon to know that the word summon is an action. Summon the band. That means do something to the band. Well, when you summon, it's like you are calling the band and the robins. These words are words that come from us from a different story. Do you remember when we read My Vivid Town? Trumpets, drums, and clarinets were all instruments used in that same book. Here we see this, the royal roost. Now this is a little bit tricky. The lock on the royal roost was sprung. So you might already know that the word royal is to do with king, queen, prince, princess, people who live in a palace. But what does roost mean? Well, roost you might have heard to do with chickens and eggs. Roost means when a place that different birds will sit so that they can have a place to sit in quiet away from predators to sit on their eggs. The next one we see is the word, we see royal again. The lid on the royal insects box was lifted, and from it hundreds of fluttering insects drifted. Fluttering is something to do with insects. What do you think it could be? Drifted tells us what they did. When I think of the word drifted, I think of like driftwood. So I imagine something kind of drifting away like this. So we talked a little bit about how there's the sound NG. It's a really important sound in this book. In fact, the whole book is built around the sound NG. That's why they chose to teach you using NG, NG, NG. Maybe I've given away a trade secret, but there you go. So, what we're going to do is we're going to pick some of those words to put into this list. I've got ING, ing, ANG, ang, ONG, ong, and UNG, ung. You may notice that each one of these vowel sounds is a short vowel sound. I, a, So, let's put some words into the list. The first one's a pretty obvious one. Sing, sang, song, sung. Now you try. Ready, go. Sing, sang, song, sung. Can you try by yourself? What else could we put into these lists? Notice here it's got spr, spr, str, str. Don't get mixed up. You try. Spr, ing, spring. Spr, ong, sprong. Spring. Spr, ang, sprang. Str, ong, strong. And str, ung, strung. Notice that you can also sound out these words with the sound ng, n. Try this. Spr, n, spring. Spr, n, sprang. Str, n, strong. Str, n, strung. What else could we do? Maybe one more. You'll notice this is where our list stops because there are no more ong or ang songs, ong or ung sounds in the whole rest of the word, and we're also done with our ang sounds, ang. So there's bobbing and rang. You try. B, a, b, ing. Bobbing and r-ang, rang. Can you think of some other words that might go in these different sound families? Did you notice that the words clarinets, drums, inspected, and daffodils were all words that were previously used in different stories? And these are the ones that are most obvious. Clarinet and drums was in one particular story. Do you remember what it was? Inspected was in one particular story. Do you remember what that one was? That was a while ago. And daffodils was in a story we read recently. Can you pick what those stories were and how they help you build on your schema as you read these new stories? Let's take a look. Clarinets and drums was from the story My Vivid Town. Do you remember when they played that in the streets? Yeah, that helps it build on our schema for this story. Inspected was from the story A Cricket Sings, when she inspected the cricket and the cricket inspected her. And finally, Daffodils was from the story The Sunset Pond. All of these stories help us build schema for the next stories coming up. Just like everything experience that we have helps build schema for things that happen in our life next.